Okay guys, little update. I've finished the wings entirely now and I'm ready to start covering. I've fitted, as you can see, the aileron wires and all the control horns are all made for the tail section, and all the ailerons have been hinged and I'm happy with, and the torque rods are now fixed, so I've just got to work around those, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I'm going to get out the doculum now and start covering them with the heat gun, as shown to us by Mark Robinson on his excellent instructional video. I thought it would be worth recording this bit, guys. My first chance of first time of using doculum. Now, as Mark says, it's got two sides. The matte side is the glue side, so I've laid that on. This is the bottom of the tail plane. I'm going to go straight with the tail plane, set to 115 degrees. So I'm just going to start. Now I have to stick it down completely on this because I have to cut out a couple of sections for sticking on the fuselage, but it does have a degree of shrinkage in it, apparently, but you've got to get it as tight as you can. So, and it's on the flat surface, it's reasonably easy to do. So I'm pulling it tight, but I'm avoiding touching the actual surface of the doculum, only around the edges. If you want to see how to do it with really fantastic instructions, check out Mark Robinson's channel. Put in Mark Robinson tissue, something like that, and you'll find the videos with the doculum. Why am I doing this instead of just getting on with the tissuing? Well, this will add a lot of strength to the tissue, to the structure, make the tissue less prone to damage, and it'll also give it a degree of resilience against high humidity, so the tissue won't get slack, which won't really be a problem anyway, but for those that live in high humidity countries, it could be a huge bonus. Keeping the iron off of the surface as much as I can, just doing the edges, not turning it right round onto the face. Okay, I'm happy with the rest, so let's get on. I might tissue this actually before I do the wings. A little bit of a knack to this, guys. I've put the tissue on and I'm just putting on some varnish. The varnish I've got in-house is satin finish, and put 2 coats of white on to give it a bit more body, as it were. And here's a test panel I did earlier. It's not too bad. It's not gloss. It's pretty good, so I'm happy with that. So, but I haven't got much in here, so I'll probably have to buy another tin. Should just clear Von Sealed interior varnish, quick drying. I always think of varnish as being a thick, sticky mixture for putting on wood, but this water-based varnish is, hoping that will go around there. This water-based varnish is much nicer. It's almost like just water, really. Let's just leave that to go off a little bit, and then we'll come back to it and tidy up the edges. Oh, I think that looks beautiful. Really lovely. So I've done the underneath of all the control surfaces and tail feathers, and it's all drying. So as soon as that's dry, I can dress the edges and do the other side. Okay guys, so I've finished these little bits here. A couple of things to look at, a bit of a learning curve. The plastic underneath, where I didn't tighten it enough, well, pull it tight to start with, has wrinkled the tissue. Well, rather, the tissue has just picked up the wrinkles in the plastic. To be honest, I don't mind because it was covered with fabric anyway, so it kind of looks scale. The ailerons are obviously khaki underneath and dark green on the top. The dark green tissue is a little bit thinner and you've got to be very careful to put it on so you don't rip it. Tailplane, I've just put a little twist. There's a small twist in it, not enough to worry about, but I'm just twisting it in the opposite direction anyway, just to ease it in the right direction. So there we are. I'm going to start the wing now. The wing is ready to go. So first thing is to put on the mylar. So I'll crack on with that and I'll show you how I'm getting on when I've fitted it. I've covered the bottom and I'm about to start the top. I've discovered from the top wing that this paper is a little bit different to the pink, but it seems to be anyway, and it's very difficult not to get creases in it. It goes on nice there, but as soon as you get it wet, it all creases up and it's a devil to get back out, sort of expands slightly. So I'm going to try something different on this wing. I started to try it on yesterday on the other wing, and that is to put it on in sections. But it didn't look too good where it overlapped, so I thought if I put it on sections and overlap it on a rib, it won't be as noticeable. So that's what I'm going to have a go at. So I'll probably do 3 ribs there, maybe those 4 there, and then maybe 3 there and 2 there, and see how I get on with that. Yeah, it's not too bad, but you know, could be better. There we go. It didn't go too bad. Hopefully the joins will be less visible. That one was a bit of a mess, but the roundel goes there, so it won't be a problem. Here's the other wing. Let me show you. I hung it up here for safekeeping. Anyway, this one, as you can see, the joins are mid-rib, which was a bit silly, but it is the lower wing, so I was learning the technique. So that wing, apart from hinging the ailerons, is done. This is the one with the torque rods, which work very well. They'll just slide into the tube in the aileron when I fit it. Oh, I've painted all the little brackets as well. They're ready to glue in now as well. There we are. Anyway, we'll let that set off a bit and I'll trim the wet tissue around the edges and tissue it all down, then I can do the other side. I think there's no reason why I can't glue this wing in position, so it's a bit of a momentous moment. It's a tight fit, but I think I'm going to glue mostly on the main spar and little bits on the side here, so perhaps I might just sand in there slightly actually. I can't think of any more reasons why it can't be glued in, so let's get it in. Just put some on there, do that there, and on there. Come on a minute, I'll just wipe some into this end grain because end grain tends to soak things up a bit, and maybe a bit on there because that's also sort of open ply a bit. Big moment. And that's it. That's an anticlimax for you. Make sure it's down onto that former, which it appears to be. There it is. It's the same bit of an anticlimax. So I've made a bottom plate here, and there's another one goes in here. This bit stays open, and I'm going to start with the 4 center ones here and work my way out. These are quite important ones to get nice and glued. I think I'll put the epoxy on these actually. It doesn't run down. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Line those up. I'm not going to push them all the way on because I've got to get the next pair of struts in. Just start them off a bit like that. Okay. Rear struts, centre, inward, top. Okay. Let's get down a bit. I think the best way is going to be to put that in there and then sort of, don't want to get epoxy on the wing. There we go. Rear one. Okay. I haven't pushed any of them down fully yet because I want a little bit of movement. Got quite a lot of epoxy pushing out around the spars, so I'm going to try and wipe that off. But otherwise, that's done. I'm going to glue the boom onto the wings and fuselage section. As you can probably see in the picture, possibly I've weighed down the front of the aeroplane in an effort so as it doesn't move. Well, I've only actually done this twice in practice as I was building it. It does put a hell of a strain on the fuselage. So hopefully it doesn't break and I can put it in. So let's have a little go. So I've just put some rigging wire on the tail feathers. Okay, so what do? I'm going to, and this is probably all going to squeeze out, but I'm going to put epoxy. It kind of like holds itself in because it's under tension, so it shouldn't actually come out, but there will be some squeezing out, I'm sure. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the ones that go under the top wing for a minute because I can actually put some epoxy in the grooves that they go in. Bottom one I can't because it's closed. So let's have a go. Here we go. Stand up for this. You can't see the slots from where you are, but these ones have to go under like that, and then these come around, and then these bend in like that. Once it starts going in, it takes the pressure off everything. There we go. We're in. We're partly in anyway. That had all those weights there because it moved even with that. Don't worry about that noise. That's just clipping into the groove under the wing. Put these bottom grooves, these bottom or the top ones now, because it's this way up. It's Saturday today, and Nick and I will be doing our Sunday live stream tomorrow with progress reports. So I want to get something done worth showing, and I've done quite a lot considering I've been busy this week. Okay. Pop that one in its slot. Oh, that's nice. That is a major, very major component. Well, the two major components are now joined as one. So now things are going to get a little bit difficult to move things around because it's going to be quite delicate. Okie doke. So just put the cross bracing on. Crisscross, it looks complicated, but it's not. Crisscross up and down. I've just got some weights pulling it all tight, while the epoxy, I've just put a dab of epoxy each, top and bottom, and a little bit of epoxy on the inside of each one. Cheated a little bit. Instead of doing all these individually, I've just threaded it around the back of the post and up to the next one and around the back. You can see it on the far side, a blob of epoxy shining. I'll touch them in brown when I'm done, so they just go around the back of each strut, and then I've just made a couple of holes in the wings this end to thread them through. I'll trim that one off in a minute. Look, that tail. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Oh, I've also added a piece of rigging wire from here down to there, stuck on a couple of little extra brackets. So it was very pleasant couple of hours connecting it all up, and the rudder and elevator are connected up as well now. Just made some little horns and just crimped it in, glued them and tensioned them up, and they work quite nicely. And the rudder one is similarly done. So yeah, there we are, really getting there now. She's come out at just over £1 12 ounces, 788 grams for a 38-inch wingspan. And I'm going to try off on a 3S 2200, which tucks up just there. The ailerons work pretty well. I'm happy with the way they go up and down. If you remember, the bottom ones go down on the torsion bar. The elevator, 2 servos, one each side. And lastly, the rudder. This is a 9x6 prop. There is room for a much bigger prop if I want to, so we'll see how that goes. The turning gnome rotary works very well. I'm happy with that. So I've added a little bit of rigging on the fuselage sides, the crisscrosses. I haven't put any rigging on the struts, interplane struts as yet, but we'll see how we get on with that. Ended up putting 2 bits of the brown cord. Why not? And yeah, so just got to find a pilot and she's ready to go. So it's just a matter of waiting now for the weather to behave. As Mark Crouch has said on a comment, don't rush into it, wait for good weather. We don't want to see it coming back in a black bag, which is very true, of course. So there we are. Really happy with the design. Nick's looks just as good. And if you've been watching our double live streams, you'll know all about Nick's model as well. So thanks for watching. Hit the little like button and subscribe, of course, and hopefully the maiden flight will be one of a joy and spectacle. Yeah, really pleased with it. Really pleased.